Hi, welcome into our third class in our 7-part series exploring the chakra system. My name is Nicole Hudson, and I'm the founder of Wander Freely Yoga and Coaching, a certified Soluna life coach, and have been working with MaineGeneral for a year and a half. I'm super excited to move up through the chakra system today into our third chakra, also known as our solar plexus or Manipura chakra. So we've looked at the root chakra, our sense of security, foundation, and home, moved into the fluidity and creativity of the second chakra. And now we're going to start to see what happens when you feel safe, you feel like you can express yourself, and you start to build some self-confidence. So today we'll be stoking the fire of Manipura. Oftentimes in a yoga class or a vinyasa class, particularly when you hear of third chakra, you're probably going to do a lot of core work. So we are going to do some core work today, but I also want to show you another way to tap into the third chakra that is not the more traditional yoga postures or asana. So we'll get to that shortly. But before we do, we're going to look at the characteristics, the deficiencies, the excessive qualities that are associated with Manipura. So maybe you can start to notice where you're seeing it in your life, how you can start to bring better balance to it with more self-awareness. So let's go ahead and jump in. So the location of Manipura is again going to be the solar plexus or the abdominal region. The central issue associated with it is power and will. It's like this place of confidence, this fire or heat. So often willpower is associated with Manipura. The goals are vitality, spontaneity, strength of will, purpose, and self-esteem. The right associated with it is to act or to take action. Developmental stages are 18 months to 4 years. If you think of a child within that time, they're really starting to express their sense of self. Like if you think of a toddler up to 4 years old, like they're really starting to find who they are and like expressing that with a sense of will and confidence. The identity is ego identity or self-definition. The demon associated with it is going to be shame. Excessive characteristics are dominating, blaming, aggression, a little bit scattered, or constantly active. So if you think of the excessive characteristics, if we're thinking of power, willpower, confidence, excessive would be kind of an excess of that. So dominating, kind of intense. And the deficient characteristics would be a weak willpower, poor self-esteem, a passiveness, sluggishness, or fearfulness, right? So if you're not confident in yourself, you might be feeling a low self-esteem or low self-confidence. So that would be a deficient characteristic. The element associated with Manipura is fire. So again, we kind of stoke the inner fire. The color is yellow. And the seed sound or bija mantra is Ram, R-A-M, Ram. So before we get into our physical postures, I'd like to work with a pranayam. Pranayam is breath practice. So prana is life force. So when we use our breath practice, we're moving the life force, right? We're bringing in life force, moving it through our bodies. And today we're going to be working with skull shining breath. And it'll make more sense in a minute. So I want to explain it, give a quick demonstration, and then we'll do it together. So I like to bring my hands onto my belly to the third chakra region because then you can kind of feel your abdominals moving. It's going to be a sharp exhalation out of your nose. And then that's going to kind of give you a passive inhale, right? So sharp exhale, and then your body will naturally need to take a breath in, so it'll be a passive inhale. And once you get into it, it feels more rhythmic, and it makes more sense once you put the theory into practice. So I like to have the hands at the belly because you can kind of feel your belly is going to do almost like this bounce motion because we're really starting to stir the fire. We're getting the diaphragm to start moving. We're getting the breath to move. And what we're doing is exhaling stale, stagnant energy, right? So if you think of a fire in the fireplace, if there's not enough air, we're going to put the fire out. So we want to get our breath moving. We want to get the air moving so that we have a strong fire within us to start moving into our postures. Before we get started, if you have any sort of heart condition, if you at any point right now are experiencing any nasal, ear, nose, and throat problems, please go ahead and sit this one out and we can come back to it another time when that's feeling better. So while we're practicing this, if you do fall in those categories, please sit in a comfortable in and out breath until we get into the physical postures. Okay, so let's begin. You can bring your hands to your belly. Take a deep breath in through your nose. We'll start with a full exhale out of the mouth. Inhale about 3/4 of the way full. And exhale. So feel how the belly kind of pulses. Feel how there's a sharp exhale and passive inhale. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Full inhale. Drop your chin to your chest, retain the inhalation. Lift your chin back up and let everything out. Okay, we're going to take one more round, so we'll begin that practice again. Inhale fully. Exhale completely. Inhale 3/4 of the way. And begin. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. Drop your chin to your chest, retain the breath. Lift your chin up. And when you're ready, come back into your natural breath pattern. Your eyes are closed. You can open your eyes. And let's go ahead and come all the way down onto the back. So remove anything that you might have underneath you, a blanket or a block, and come to lie all the way down onto your back. Once you find yourself there, keep a bend into your knees. Feet will be about hip width distance apart. And just take a moment to kind of feel your hips and your low back grounded to the earth. Take a moment to wiggle and adjust your shoulders any way you need so that they're connected down as well. And then you can take your arms out to a T. Palms will face down. So that's going to kind of be your anchor. And bring your knees up to about 90 degrees. So I've got knees over hips. Bend more or less at 90 degrees. Take a deep inhale through your nose. And as you exhale, start to drop your knees over to the right. But before your left shoulder comes off the ground, engage your core by drawing your belly button and low abdominal in and bring yourself back to neutral. And then exhale, slowly take it over to the left before your right shoulder, comes up. Come back to center. So take this slow. The tendency is to kind of go back and forth in flow, and then the momentum is what's making you move, opposed to the strength and the fire in your belly. Lightly press down to your palms so there's a grounding quality. Maintain the contraction of low belly and navel. So you can imagine that's kind of pulling in and up. So really finding some stability, finding some heat. And take it one more time over to the left. Exhale, come back to center. Flex into your feet. Send both of your heels towards the ceiling And then option to grab onto the back of your right thigh, or you can bring your leg a little closer to grab onto your right calf. Hold your right leg and start to lower your left leg all the way down. And right before you touch the ground, let it hover. Head, neck, and shoulders can stay down, or again, engage your core. Head, neck, and shoulders lift up. If you're lifting, keep your gaze up so we're not cranking in through the neck, right? Long neck slide. And then same thing, slow and controlled swap. And swap. If at any point this becomes too much weight on your head, please let your head lower back down. Stay steady with your breath. Notice if you're holding your breath in, keep stoking that fire at your belly. The next time your left leg is hugged in, pull your right leg back up to meet it. Release head, neck, and shoulders down. Bring your hands down by your sides. Bend into your knees. Release your feet down to the earth. Take a full breath in at neutral. Full breath out. Shift your hips to one side so you can roll yourself around, and we'll transition onto hands and knees for a tabletop. Stack your shoulders over your wrist, hips over your knees, so we set up a firm foundation first. And then walk your left shin in a little bit more towards midline. Really press the top of your left foot down and take your right toes to the back of your mat first. So we'll start with the toes down. Actively press your right heel back as you pull the crown of your head forward. And then notice if you kind of sunk into the abdominals and shoulders. Think of pressing into the earth. So you're coming up and out of the shoulder joints. Draw in and up on the low abdominals, and then let that stability float your right leg back. Keep drawing in on the low belly. Shift the weight slightly to your right hand and take your left arm out in front of you. So I'm actively reaching out my back heel, actively reaching out my front fingers, and then pressing down. So again, there's not a drop. I'm coming up and out of the joints, stabilizing my back by engaging my core center. Stay here for a deep breath in. And as you exhale, start to draw elbow to knee, draw in, little round to the upper back. Inhale, re-extend. Exhale, pull it in. One more. Inhale, extend, take it slow. Exhale, contract. Inhale, extend from front to back. Bring your hand to the ground. Bring your right toes to the ground, and then step your left toes back to meet a high plank. Send your hips up and back, downward facing dog for a full breath in. Full breath out. Start to rock yourself forward. Take your knees down to the ground, but let it be slow. Use your core, and eventually you'll come all the way to tabletop. Again, untuck your toes. This time, walk your right shin a little bit more towards midline. Send your left toes behind you. So there's an active pressing back as you reach the crown of your head forward. Engage through your core, so there's not a deep arch in the back, right? Engage through the core, there's stability there, and then shift your weight over your shoulders as you lift your left leg. Toes face down, so notice that the tendency of the hip is to roll out. Toes down, there's a little bit more internal rotation there. Shift the weight to your left palm, and when you feel ready, extend your right arm long. Think of pressing from front to back, coming up out of your shoulder and hip joints, and engaging your core to stabilize your back. So if we stayed here, this will get pretty tiring, right? We're really energizing the whole body from the core out. We engage the core and we radiate out. Take another inhale. Exhale, slow and controlled, elbow towards knee. Engage your core, slight round in the upper back. Inhale, re-extend. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, extend. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, extend front to back. Release your right hand, release your left foot. Step your right foot back, high plank, full breath in. Exhale, send your hips up and back, full breath out. One more inhale here. And exhale. Slowly rock your weight forward, bend your knees, take it low, take it slow, and eventually your knees find the ground. Untuck your toes, crisscross your feet, or sweep them off to the side, and transition back to a comfortable seat. Okay, so we didn't do a lot of movement, but it was slow and controlled, and so hopefully you felt some fire starting to heat up in the abdominal region. So with anything after we activate, we want to take a moment or two to soften. So if you want to come up onto a blanket, feel free to do so. Reach both of your arms all the way up and overhead. Exhale, hands to your heart. Release your right hand to the ground, left arms reach up and over. Find a lateral stretch here so you can breathe some space into your side belly. Press down to your bottom hand. Maybe you shift your gaze to your upper arm. Full breath in. And out. Inhale, both arms back up to center. Feel the reach from left to right. And then take your left palm down, right arm reaches up and over. Deep breath in. And out. Inhale, both arms back to center, palms connect. Exhale, bring everything down to your heart space. And then if you'd like to bring one hand to Manipura chakra, one hand to your heart, option to close your eyes down. You might imagine the color yellow, that fire burning in your belly. And taking 2 or 3 more gentle breaths here. And remembering that you don't have to always stoke the fire. Remembering that it is there for you to connect in with, to build your sense of self, to build your confidence. And sometimes a simple remembering is enough to awaken the fire within. Bring both of your hands to heart center. Option to bow your head down, honoring your own internal flame. Honoring your ability to connect in, to move forward with confidence. One more deep inhale down into your belly. Exhale out with a big sigh. Gently lift your head back up. Option to open your eyes. Namaste. I thank you for taking time to tap into your source of power, your source of passion, the fire within you, the third chakra, Manipura chakra. If you have any questions, as always, please don't hesitate to reach out, and I look forward to welcoming you to the heart chakra the next time we meet.